In the 135-year history of basketball, Time has a 100% win rate. It is the only defender that never misses a rotation and never gets tired. It took Jordan's lift in DC. It took Kobe's burst in 2013. It is supposed to be the one thing that remains undefeated, but Time just met the one man who refuses to acknowledge its existence. That game-tying triple from LeBron in Game 3 against the Rockets didn't just save a game. It became the definitive moment of the Lakers' 2026 season. As the ball left his fingertips, you could feel the collective breath of the Houston crowd hitch. It sparked an overtime victory, pushed Los Angeles to a commanding 3-0 series lead, and effectively broke the spirit of a much younger Houston team. For LeBron, though, it was simply another chapter in a career that has long since exited the realm of incredible and entered the impossible. Across his 23 NBA seasons, he's delivered clutch go-ahead or game-tying shots in the playoffs, with under 24 seconds left at a rate that has no modern parallel. Most superstars lose their legs by age 35, yet here is a 41-year-old hitting a deep contested three after playing 40 minutes of grueling basketball. This wasn't a lucky heave. It was a calculated strike from a man who has spent 2 decades mastering the geometry of the court. We are witnessing a player who has outlasted his peers, his rivals, and even his own skeptics. The shot itself was incredible under that pressure, but what's truly remarkable is the context of the man behind it. 10 seconds before the three, a 41-year-old LeBron was playing full court, man-to-man defense in a high-stakes playoff moment. The player he was guarding from 80 feet away, Reed Shepherd, wasn't even born when LeBron made his NBA debut in 2003. Think about the sheer physics of that. Shepherd was being checked by a living piece of NBA history that by all logic should have retired 5 years ago. LeBron isn't just hanging on as a veteran presence. He is actively locking down elite prospects who grew up with his posters on their bedroom walls. He is moving with a lateral quickness that defies biological aging, proving that his legendary $1.5 million a year body maintenance program has actually worked. He is a ghost from the past who has refused to stop haunting the present. That clip from Colin Cowherd isn't from this year or last year.
He was easily the best player on the floor at 40. LeBron is 34 years old. He will never be as good as Michael Jordan was at 40.
It's from 2019, 7 years ago. At the time, LeBron was only 34, and the sports world was convinced the decline had finally arrived. He was closing in on Michael Jordan's scoring record, but the Lakers were on the verge of missing the playoffs for the first time in 13 years. That whole rant about his fading skills, his future in the league, and his looming retirement was treated as gospel by the media. They said the king had finally lost his crown and that the LeBron era was over. Yet, not only did he win a championship the very next season in the bubble, but 7 years later, absolutely nothing has changed. His level of play is still elite. His ability to elevate in the postseason is still unmatched. And most importantly, the tired narratives surrounding him haven't evolved. We are still having the same "is he washed" conversation in 2026 that we had in 2019, despite 7 years of evidence to the contrary. It makes you wonder if we'll still be debating his retirement when he's 50. Heading into Game 1 of the Lakers-Rockets series, things looked grim for Los Angeles. Without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, the previews weren't really breakdowns of the matchup. They were basically obituaries for the Lakers season. Analysts were asking how badly the Rockets would blow them out, or whether Houston's second-round opponent would be OKC or Denver. The Lakers were being treated like a first-round formality. LeBron had spent the previous 6 months adjusting to life as a third option for the first time in his career, letting Luka and Austin take the lead. With those key offensive pieces sidelined, the odds were stacked heavily against a 41-year-old carrying that much weight. Despite all the times he's carried under-talented rosters in Cleveland or beat the 73-win Warriors, the experts again doubted his ability to flip the script. They forgot that a cornered LeBron James is the most dangerous entity in professional sports. He didn't just step up, he reclaimed the throne he had briefly vacated. He defied the odds, he turned back the clock, and he did it with a ferocity we haven't seen in years. In Game 3 alone, he dropped 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. making clutch plays on both ends of the floor. Across the series, we saw lines like 19-13-8, dominant all-around nights that showed his basketball IQ hasn't aged a day. This isn't stat padding in a loss. These are high-impact winning plays that resulted in a 3-0 lead. Watching him outleap 22-year-old centers for rebounds makes you realize that LeBron's decline is still better than 99% of the league's prime. To truly grasp the absurdity of this, we have to look at the data. Almost everyone in the 2026 playoffs is under 32, and nearly half are under 26. It's a young man's game. The playoffs are a meat grinder that usually chews up and spits out older players. But for LeBron, the rules of biology don't seem to apply. He has now recorded 4 playoff games with at least 20 points and 10 rebounds since turning 40, surpassing Kareem for the most in NBA history. When Kareem was 41, he was a role player averaging 10 points per game, leaning heavily on Magic Johnson. John Stockton was a bench facilitator at this age, and Vince Carter was a spot-up shooter. LeBron, however, is outscoring all players age 41 or older in NBA playoff history combined during this postseason alone. He is literally off the chart, a statistical outlier that makes the graph look broken. We are watching the gold standard of longevity being rewritten in real time, but there was one sequence in Game 3 so improbable you'll never witness it again in your lifetime. With 8:45 left in the second quarter, LeBron scored on a tough glass bucket to put the Lakers up 7. The very next trip down, Bronny James came off a screen from his dad and knocked down a cold-blooded 3. Then, on the following possession, LeBron threw a high arc lob to his son in transition for a highlight reverse finish. That was the first father-son assist in NBA playoff history, and it sent a shockwave through the arena. Right after that, LeBron drilled a 3 of his own, and to cap it off, he cut for an easy layup. That was a 10-0 run, powered entirely by a father and son in the most intense basketball environment on earth. We've started to take this dynamic for granted because it's on our TV every night, but pause and think. This man just threw a lob to his own child in a playoff game. Look around the court and you'll see the reality of LeBron's historic run. The Rockets' crunch time lineup, Sengun, Smith, Thompson, and Eason were all in diapers when LeBron played his first NBA game. They are literally being schooled by a ghost from the league's past who refuses to leave. Their head coach, Ime Udoka, has been in the NBA since 2012, but his playing debut was in 2004, 3 months after LeBron's. Udoka played 8 seasons, retired, spent 13 years as a coach, and in all that time, LeBron never stopped being a problem. LeBron was scoring buckets before Udoka was a pro, scored on Udoka as a player, and is now dismantling Udoka's teams as a coach. It's a level of omnipresence that we've never seen from an athlete before. Most players are lucky to have a 10-year career. LeBron has had 3 separate 8-year Hall of Fame careers, stacked on top of each other. His first playoff appearance came all the way back in 2006, and the photos from that era are jarring. One photo shows a young LeBron posing with a 9-year-old Jalen Brunson, who is now an all-star for the Knicks. While Brunson was in 4th grade, LeBron was already averaging 35 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in his playoff debut series against the Wizards. For every record LeBron breaks now as the oldest, there is an old graphic of him as the youngest to do the exact same thing. In 2007, Bill Simmons wrote that people would remember where they were during LeBron's 48-point game against the Pistons 20 years later. Simmons was wrong. Many current NBA fans don't remember where they were because they weren't born yet, and the ones who do remember are watching him do it all over again in 2026. He has shattered the gold standard set by Kareem and redefined what it means to be an athlete. 23 years later, he is still the sun that the entire NBA solar system revolves around.